All right, today I'd like to talk to you about the Citizen Chronomaster. This is the 40 millimeter case version that came out several years ago. It's 2022 now. I believe it was, 2018 when this first came out. It is the AQ4030-51L. Has the blue Washi Japanese Paper Dial, and is super titanium, is echo drive, so it's solar, and it's a high accuracy quartz watch, so it maintains accuracy within 5 seconds a year. When I came across this watch, I just was smitten with it, to be honest with you. I think it's just a very good looking watch. It has lume, and that's important to me. I had bought a non-lumed Grand Seiko a number of years ago, and as soon as it got to be dusk in a darkened room, having a nice dinner at a restaurant that's dark, became for me very difficult to read a watch that didn't have lume. So I from then on, I said I'm always going to get a nice watch that has lume, and this really ticked a lot of the boxes for me. So good looking watch, keeps excellent accurate time. At being under 80 grams because it's titanium, fits super comfortable on the wrist. It is, being super titanium, the platinum super titanium as it's called, is 5 times harder than steel. So supposedly is very, very scratch resistant. And what is very unique about this movement is, besides it being super accurate, actually on a daily basis, it checks to make sure the second hands are properly hitting the markers. And so that every day, or maybe every night, it will kind of do that check where the second hand potentially could get jostled with a physical shock to the watch. I don't know, maybe magnetic influence, but it will correct it back to hitting the marker. Secondly, it is a perpetual calendar out to February 2100, which means at the end of every month, it knows exactly what month it currently is, and will jump to the first of the next month. For 28-day months, for 30-day months, it'll just skip over the 29th, 30th, 31st of the month to get to the first as appropriate. So basically, you never need to set the time or adjust the date. And then, of course, with it being solar powered or echo drive, as long as you're giving it light, it will just run and run and run. And there's stories out there of echo drive watches that have run for 20 years or more. But also what's interesting is you can throw it in a drawer and it'll go to low power mode and still keep time in low power mode for up to a year and a half. And you pull it back into the light and the hands will automatically correct to the correct time and start charging again. So some really neat technology that's in this watch. The Chronomaster name has been around for a number of years. I really find this to be the kind of the pinnacle of accomplishment so far. I don't know what the future renditions from a technology standpoint might have in store, but I really have been enjoying this watch. Of course, this blue washi paper, the way that is assembled, I think is pretty fascinating. It's got, starts off with the solar disc sensor that absorbs the solar, the light to create solar power. So that's at the base. Then on top of it is this white washi paper, and it's that Japanese paper that they make those white lanterns from, or the white translucent sliding doors that you'll see sometimes in Japanese movies, in Japanese homes. Very cool. And then on top of that white paper, which is translucent, letting the light through, is a tinted plastic disc that is also UV treated to protect the paper. So when you see this blue watch dial, which I think is just very cool, and if you really zoomed in, you'd kind of see the fabric of the paper. But the blue is actually from the colored plastic disc. It's not dyed paper, if you will, which was kind of an interesting learning for me. And then on top of this plastic tinted disc is are the markers and the logos, and so at the right angle, the right lighting, the logos and markers can actually look like they're floating above the dial, which is also a very cool effect. So anyway, I've had this watch a couple days. I just think it is super cool, and I'll just show you a neat feature here, and this is how to check how much power is still in the watch. So there's a little button up here that when I press the button, let me press this button harder. Oops, shoot. There we go. So I press the button and you can see the second hand went to the 10-minute marker, and it sits there for, I don't know, about 10 seconds, and then it hops back to the correct time. So basically the way you read the power of this watch is at the noon or the 12 o'clock marker is no power. Then there's the 5-minute, 10-minute, and then the 15-minute marker. 15 minutes means the watch is fully charged. So this is 2/3 charged. And I'll show you there's a button right up here that you just depress. Unfortunately, the tip of my toothpick got bent, which made it a little bit more difficult, but yeah, let me see if I can turn this around a little more. It's hard to see. Yeah, there's that little marker right, or that little dot up there that you depress to check out the time. So anyway, yeah, 40 millimeter case size, which is fantastic, and also has I believe it's 12.5 millimeters thick, but I have several watches in the 12 to 13 millimeter thickness range, and this wears, I guess you'd say, thin for a 12.5 millimeter watch. So I have a 12 millimeter thick GMT, so it has a moving bezel, and that actually feels thicker at 12 millimeters because the way the bezel's constructed than this does at 12.5 millimeters. So yeah, it fits nice and trim on the wrist. You know, as far as the quality of the bracelet, you know, it's a super light watch. The bracelet is very, very comfortable, seems very high quality, no complaints, other than when I had to fit the bracelet. It's one of those 2-screw bracelets, so there's a screw on either side of each link, and basically every single screw or link needs to have a screwdriver on both sides turning to loosen this up. And that, I will tell you, was no easy feat. But I got it done without scratching up the watch, so I'm happy about that, but that was not so fantastic. Probably the other comment I would make relative to performance is while it looks like there's a lot of loom, the loom, to be honest, for me was a bit disappointing. I mean, it works. It does last through the night, but it's not particularly bright. And I guess if this is more of a dressy watch, you probably don't want a diver type loom at a nice dark restaurant going. I don't know, but I mean, so it is functional, but it is not particularly bright. It's a greenish color, so it's kind of an interesting. You've got kind of the Seattle Seahawk blue-green combo when you start to get in dim lighting. I think Rolex has a Perpetual out there that is similar colors. But anyway, I really enjoy this watch, but just wanted to kind of show you how it works. And thanks for watching.